Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light this shit up. Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light this shit up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to make this intro quick because I always drag them out. But this is what Naruto got stronger every time my shadow clone was destroyed. A new man gave me a lot of helpful tips, like helping with my editing and all that, and I appreciate the love. I decided to take a different take on my editing, and most of you guys liked it, so I'm going to try to stick with it, but you don't know how long it takes. It nearly took me like 5 hours. Oh, I don't want to get into it. But, other than that, like over the next part, 70 likes, you can absolutely smash that like goal. Like, oh my god. But yeah, other than that, let's just jump right into it where we left off last time. Naruto managed to get the belts of Kakashi, allowing him, Sakura and Sasuke to pass. And Kakashi decided that he had to let them pass, and he would end up having to review Sakura and Sasuke himself. But Naruto by far was enough to carry the next team. And Kakashi smirked, thinking, "You're just like your father." And the only thing he'd think of was his teacher. But other than this, about 2 weeks went past. Naruto trained. He didn't use his shadow clones as much, as he knew that his power was just different. But he noticed something around him. Everyone seemed to be getting stronger quicker, and they noticed it themselves. And Naruto slowly started to realise that anyone that he truly wanted to would be getting stronger and stronger and stronger, as it's almost like his power was leaking onto them. So with that, he trained with Sasuke mainly, as sometimes Sakura and Kakashi, but mainly Sasuke. And his speed just increased. It was doubling, it was tripling, it was quadrupling as they trained. And Naruto and Sasuke started getting along more. They only trained in simple things that they could train in. It's mainly taijutsu. But he tried teaching Sasuke the special technique you can use to shadow clones. But for some reason, Sasuke just couldn't use the hand signs that he used. Then Naruto showed him the original ones, and he managed to create a shadow clone, but he trained his chakra. And Sasuke decided that he would use that technique on a later time when he had more chakra to use it. But they finally managed to get their first mission, and they didn't have to do any stupid cat missions like last time, as Kakashi made it clear to the third Hokage how strong Naruto was. And the third Hokage decided he wanted to test this out. And he sent Naruto, Sasuke and Kakashi, I'm just going to say Team 7, he sent Team 7 on their first mission, which was to escort a bridge builder to the land of waves. When they first met the bridge builder, he was rude and drunk. But when he saw Naruto, a sort of pressure overcame him as Naruto glared him down. So it was almost like his intoxication faded and it was overrun by pure fear. He knew that this kid was above him, and he knew deep down this is the kid that they needed to save his home. And therefore, he shut his mouth. As they're walking, Naruto's eyes are closed, and he's concentrating. This new power that Naruto's got feels like it isn't even his, but he loves it. And some of you guys weren't sure what I meant by everything that's doubled. I mean literally everything. His brain power, his chakra control, his chakra capacity, his chakra amount, his physical strength, his speed, his battle IQ, literally anything you could think of. This is the most OP what if I've ever made. I can say it with chest. And you start to realise that it's getting to this point, his body isn't just changing physically, it's almost as if it's evolving. As an animal can only get so fast before something changes for it to get faster. Do you think a cheetah could run as fast as it could now if it had legs it had, like its predecessor had? Probably could actually, got that. But you know what I mean. But Naruto just chose to ignore this as he noticed something. There was a puddle there on a sunny day, and if you're wondering, yes, Naruto can suppress his chakra so no one can sense the insane amount he has. and he straight away notices. He looks at the puddle and puts his hand out, wanting to test out a new theory. He forces pure chakra into it, and it starts to ripple up as the two ninjas fly out with one of their arms broken. It was almost like the amount of chakra Naruto has was pushing out into reality, and it was breaking it, and forced one of the ninjas' arms to snap. They screamed out in pain, and Naruto just smirked. Time to test out more abilities that he wanted to try out. He changed the chakra that he was using, and the ninja's broken arm quickly snapped, and it was clear that he was stronger than before. He was confused, but he wasn't going to complain, and he rushed at Naruto, swinging his chain, just for the chain with spikes in it to hit Naruto, and go, what's the word called? It goes flat, it has no sharpness to it. And Naruto just laughs. He grabs the chain and flicks his wrist. It wraps around the Energy Ninja's neck, and he wraps it around a tree, leaving them hanging. But ninjas are strong, mate. They can be hanging for at least an hour before they actually pass out. So that ninja just circulating his chakra, trying to get out of those trains. The other ninja attacks Sasuke, and Sasuke roundhouse kicks him in the face, nailing his chin, knocking him out. But this ain't enough for Sasuke. He's still an emo who's just watched his parents get killed hundreds of times. And when the guy's on the ground, now Sasuke lifts his feet into the air and slams the back of his heel down onto the ninja's face, making the ground underneath him shatter. Naruto sees it and smirks, thinking, don't blame him, mate, they were well annoying. And they continue. The bridge builder finally admits that he lied to them about the difficulty of the mission. But as he's trying to explain this, Naruto can sense a strong presence, nearly on Kakashi's level. A massive sword comes flying from behind them. Naruto senses Spike as he jumps up and kicks the sword that was flying directly towards the bridge builder's head, sending it flying back to its owner. That's when Zabuza appears, laughing, and says, "So, you actually managed to deflect my blade, kid, huh? Impressive. I guess we'll have a little bit of fun." And he lunges down towards Naruto, extending his leg and actually kicking Naruto, sending him back flying. Naruto was impressed. This ninja was strong. And it was all explained as Zabuza felt that the world's energy was purer, and with his training, he felt the results multiply. The process he was getting was about 10 times faster. So he was roughly about 10 times stronger than in canon. And if you guys are wondering, yes, this is how the show's actually going to be interesting about one-shots. Naruto makes the enemy stronger while Naruto is stronger himself. So Zabuza thinks he's knocked Naruto out and attempts to rush at Sasuke, just for Naruto to run in and grab up his face and spin around and chuck him through multiple trees. Naruto's lip has a bit of blood on it, but he turns into smoke, quickly healing. And he's just standing there laughing with his bright blue eyes, thinking, "You think that was enough to end me? Don't make me laugh." And Naruto does hand signs he learned from the scroll and slams them down onto the ground. 5 earth dragons fly out the ground and start attacking Zabuza. Zabuza slashes them with his sword, but one of them catches his side, cutting it open. But he can use a bit of medical jutsu, so he manages to heal his side, but not completely. He just closed the wound. He laughs and says, "Kid, impressive. But let's see how you do against a few more of me." He does hand sign and a bunch of mist just covers the land. And Naruto smirks, thinking, "This isn't enough to trick me," but Sakura freaks out. She's stronger than in canon, but nowhere near strong enough to take on the attacks of Zabuza, who's 10 times stronger. And Naruto smirks. He opens up his hand as a sort of orb starts forming in it, but Kakashi stops him and tells him that he's the team leader, he needs to take responsibility for Zabuza. Naruto calms down, like the energy they could sense him just disappears. And he lets Kakashi take over from there. Kakashi stands toe-to-toe with Zabuza and starts fighting against all his clones. Kakashi himself is stronger now, training with Naruto, as the boost that he got from training with Naruto was greater than a boost that Zabuza got. So he could actually go toe to toe with this 10 times stronger Zabuza, and actually started demolishing his clones. This was until Zabuza popped out of the ground, locking Kakashi in a water prison. He started laughing and screaming, saying, "What now? I've got your sensei, what will you do?" And Naruto just starts barely laughing. He takes a slow but confident walk towards him and says, "So you have my sensei? Oh, that's quite a problem, isn't it? I wonder what I could ever do to stop that." Zabuza says, "Don't get a step closer or I'll kill you, kid." And he pulls out kunais and chucks them towards Naruto. The kunais just hit Naruto's skin and doesn't faze him. And he carries on walking. And he says, "Kill me. I wonder how you're going to do that, considering your main weapon can't even get a scratch on me." Zabuza's face looks up in fear. And he says, What? Impossible. I get you were strong, but for your body to be that hard, you must be learning some forbidden jutsu. Interesting. Could I got an offer for you? Why stay here with these weaklings when you can come travel with me and get stronger with me? I won't limit your process like your sensei will. I'll push you to your full strength without any limits. And now she just laughs and says, "You limit my process? I'm pretty sure you'd do that by not being able to keep up in the first 2 minutes." So as I hear this, and his eyes go bloodshot with anger, but he's not stupid, he's a ninja. He knows that if he snaps, this kid will easily kill him. But he's getting more nervous and nervous as this kid calmly walking towards him like you do on a summer's day. Naruto starts stretching, and a weird energy starts pouring out of Naruto. And he said, "I've been wanting to try this for a little while ever since I discovered that damn fox." And he smirks. Naruto closes his eyes for what he timed his thoughts to be like a few minutes, but in the outside world it's like 1 second. And he's running around his mind. He's finally got back into this place. He's finally learned how to do it. And he finally gets to the massive cage where he feels an enormous amount of chakra coming from. And if you're wondering, when Naruto gets stronger, so does Kurama. But it's not as big as a multiplier. And he just appears there, and Kurama is just sitting there waiting patiently, wanting to meet this kid. So you finally came. I've been intrigued to meet you, Naruto's mocking. Naruto says, "Likewise, whoever you are." Kurama says, "Call me the Nine-Tails Fox." And Naruto just says with a straight face, "No, I'm not going to say three words for one name." And Kurama laughs, says, "Well, I think you've earned the right by your strength. My name's Kurama. I'm the Nine-Tails Fox, and your parents sealed me inside you when you was young to stop me rampaging." And Naruto's eyes, get serious and says, "Wait, so you're the Nine-Tailed Fox that killed my parents?" Kurama says with a straight face, "Yes, but it's not what you think. I was being controlled by a masked man. But still, I apologize. But I don't think it's time for you to hate me when there's more time to talk about your abilities." He's like, "I'm pretty sure you figured it out. Your power multiplies every time one of your shadow clones get destroyed. And that multiply increases for each shadow clone that you've ever made. I'd say roughly now, if you summoned a shadow clone and destroyed it, you get 367 times stronger." And Naruto smirks and says, "Yep, that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to do it just in case, because that would be a massive power boost." And Kurama says, "Yeah." And then Kurama says, "But me and you are linked more than just by the seal. I get stronger every time you do. And I figured something out about your power. That's why I've been waiting for you to come here." And Naruto's intrigued. And Kurama says, "If you train without the shadow clones, it won't seem like anything at all. But whatever you're training in, after that shadow clone got destroyed, your proficiency in it would get times by that shadow clone as well, and it will be constantly increased. So as you've only worked a tiny bit on chakra control yourself using that scroll, but now your master at it is unparalleled, and that is due to it becoming basically like a stat point in your video game." That's how Naruto Kurama explained it, and I know there's no video game, so just get used to it. And Naruto's interested, and he says, "So, if I learnt a jutsu, and I used it under, let's say, a fireball jutsu, and I could only use a little spark. If I created a shadow clone now, I'd be able to create a bomb. Kurama smirks and says, "You catch on quick, kid." Precisely. Naruto smirks himself and says, "Good to know. But for the real reason I came here, you get stronger with me, and the chakra inside you is insane." Yes, Kurama has more chakra than Naruto, as the base chakra that gets multiplied for Kurama is a lot bigger than the base chakra that is multiplied for Naruto. Naruto says, "This seal, I didn't really figure out how to take it off myself, other than using that jutsu in the scroll, but I didn't ever practice it. I guess I could practice it now quick." And Kurama laughs and says, "So you figured out your perception of times is distorted here. It's a good place to train. It's almost like a parallel timeline. 1 second progress is a few minutes in the outside world. I mean, a few seconds, but with my help, I can make that 1 second in the outside world a few hours here. You just need to fist bump me." And that's what they do. With the seal still on it, the connection they have is a lot weaker than in canon, but it allows Kurama to control the sort of time they have in here. So Naruto practices the five-finger sealing technique, a technique that can either seal nearly all our enemy's chakra or unseal it as well. Naruto finally masters it to a base level, and he creates a shadow clone and destroys it. This causes Naruto's power to multiply by 347 times. In the real world and inside his mind. And the jutsu that he learned, he now has full mastery of it. And Kurama gets stronger as well. And the actual world inside it expands. Like his Naruto's mind expands. And he's just got that whole much stronger. And his fingers light up. In a blue flame, some fingers blue and some fingers purple. A perfect jutsu even Jiraiya couldn't master. And he slams it on his seal. The gate in front of him is removed. And he flies up in the sky. And he meditates with Kurama, sinking their powers fully. Not taking it like he did in canon. Their power is fusing. They don't have a bond, but it's at the pure power they both has. It's no point for them to fight, as while Kurama has more chakra, Naruto's physical strength is far greater. So they sort of have a mutual agreement, but I'll build on that relationship later. I just like quick power-ups. And Naruto opens his eyes with his red Kyuubi eyes, but they seem less wild, more tamed. And it's not a Kyuubi clone. They haven't made that bond yet. They need a friendship bond to get that. That's my rule. And with that, Naruto's bloodlust pours out, mixed with Kurama's. And his claws appear. He lifts up his arm, and he strikes at the ground, sending a massive... Remember, Naruto's power just got multiplied by madnesses. And Sabase senses it, but it's confusing as Naruto didn't do anything to get that multiply. Remember, Naruto hasn't let out his full power at all. He's let out a little smidge of it. A bit more than usual, but Naruto didn't realise due to his multiplier, that bit more is a lot more. And the shockwave of Naruto striking at the ground actually slices Sabase's arm off. And Kakashi comes out and spins his kunai and places it onto Sabase's neck and says, "Time's up." Before he manages to slice it, 2 small little needles impale Sabase's neck, seemingly killing him. And a masked child drops down and picks up Sabase's body, and same as canon, it explains every little thing. And before he gets the chance to take him, though, Naruto doesn't intervene as he senses something off, but he chooses to ignore it as he's bored. He wants more fun. And this was one of the most fun fights he's had in a while. But he does hand signs at the speeds that no one could perceive, and places a mark on Haku without him noticing. And this jutsu was something that felt right for him, as he just caught his eye. It was called the Flying Raijin. But this was the first time Naruto's properly used it, so he wasn't sure how it's going to work. All he knew is it allowed him, I'm adding stuff to it, it allowed him to sense where someone was at a certain time, and it allowed him to teleport them to them instantly. And with that, guys, like off in the next part, 70 likes. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, like, share, subscribe, comment down below more ideas, comment on my editing, tell me stuff I can do to get better. Other than that, peace out, guys. Love.